Hi guys, it's Joe and you're watching Hustle and Grind. Today, my guest is Alan Snel, publisher and journalist of lvsportsbiz.com. Alan, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Joe. It's great to be here.
It's an absolute honor to have you here. Now, I know we've been connecting over the Las Vegas Knights the last couple of nights. Do you want to tell everyone what you're doing with them?
Yeah, so lvsportsbiz.com covers the business and marketing of the sports industry in Las Vegas. And the Vegas Golden Knights just exploded on the scene here in 2017. It was their first season. They went all the way to the Stanley Cup final, which was exciting, obviously, for the Las Vegas market. But for me as a sports business journalist, it was really fascinating to see the launch of this basically amazing new business called the Vegas Golden Knights of the National Hockey League. So they're a very enterprising and entrepreneurial franchise. They have they're owned by Bill Foley, and they also have minority partners and founding partners. People in the NBA who know the NBA might recognize Joe and Gavin Maloof, who were the former owners of the Sacramento Kings. They are the minority partners in the Vegas Golden Knights and helped found that team. And the Golden Knights have really captured the hearts of the Las Vegas market. And just last night, in fact, I'm still kind of just brushing off the little vestiges of last night's crazy game. There were 18,081 fans in T-Mobile Arena just off the strip last night for the Golden Knights 5-1 win. So, but to me, having 18,000 people in the building means literally millions of dollars in income.
Absolutely.
The Golden Knights and the National Hockey League. So, LV Sports Biz also has covered the construction of the Raiders Stadium. That's a very big deal. It's the second season for the NFL Las Vegas Raiders that moved from Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum in Oakland, California. So we have an NFL team along with a whole bevy of other sport teams, and one-off events are held here every year.
Absolutely. Well, Vegas is going to be absolutely incredible this fall. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like having the Raiders now in that stadium. It's going to be electrifying with fans in there as well as these Vegas games. Like, I watched that game last night, and tell me what it was like when Marchand got that hat trick and all those hats were flying. It was raining hats.
Yes, it was. It was kind of funny. Our photographer for lvsportsbiz.com was not too far from me from the media ledge, which is very high in the arena. Mm-hmm. And it turned out to be a great perch to follow the flight of literally hundreds of caps and hats that were flying from every direction of the arena onto the ice. There were literally hundreds and hundreds. And it went on for a while. I actually tweeted out something that said to the effect that this the caps and hats that were flying down and raining down on the ice, it actually lasted longer than most thunderstorms in the state of Florida where I used to live. It was just absolutely crazy. The Vegas Golden Knights, as people know around the National Hockey League, they have a reputation for going with this over the top, very, if you will, almost a schmaltzy kind of glittery kind of fan experience presentation in the arena. The music is super loud, lots of lights, lots of just intense sensory stimulation going on.
I wouldn't expect anything less in Vegas.
Yeah, pretty much. And they invested, in that arena to put on that kind of show. But keep in mind that this particular season began with no fans in January. Mm-hmm. The first home game was January 14th. And against the Anaheim Ducks, and there were no fans. And every month that went on, there were more and more fans that were allowed by the local county government and health officials. And I actually did a story about how this particular arena and the Vegas Golden Knights went from 0 fans in January to what turned out to be 18,000 plus fans last night. Check that story on the homepage of lvsportsbiz.com. We try to do enterprise stories. I'm not a pure sports writer per se, I do integrate all the game action into my stories, but you had asked about the atmosphere, and that's kind of one of the topics I like to report on in our stories when we do cover games.
Wow, that atmosphere last night looked absolutely incredible. I've checked out your articles. You are an amazing journalist.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I want to touch on these 2 books you've written, because I know you've written 2.
Yeah.
The first one, 2018 Memoirs, and your journey back from being hit by that vehicle in Florida. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yes, absolutely, Joe, because there's a direct connection to lvsportsbiz.com. I came to Las Vegas originally to work for the local newspaper here called the Las Vegas Review-Journal to cover the business of sports and stadiums. In 2016, I left to go back to Florida, where I have a lot of family. And in 2017, March 7th of 2017, I was cycling outside Vero Beach, which is about 2 hours north of West Palm Beach on the east coast of Florida. A distracted motorist slammed into me, and it was, I kind of look back at it, and just kind of with just much gratitude and thankfulness, because it was a pretty violent collision that would often claim the lives of most people. I was very lucky I survived it. And I had a friend, when I was recuperating, I had a friend who said, you know what, you cover the business of sports, go back to Las Vegas and create your own site. And I said, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So this month, in fact, this week as we talk, is the 4th year anniversary of lvsportsbiz.com. But in 2017, I wrote a book about recovering from that crash and launching lvsportsbiz.com, weaving in a lot of the experiences of rebounding and recovery with the growth of the Las Vegas market and the launch of the Golden Knights. So the 2018 book, which is called Long Road Back to Las Vegas, really is about that journey back to Las Vegas, physically getting back into the swing of things and launching the new site, lvsportsbiz.com. And then last year, March of 2020, we get hit by the pandemic. Things are closed down, and I've always been wanting to write a personal book about bicycling across the country, about what bicycling means to a lot of people. That's my kind of other part of my personality. And I decided to take about 30 years worth of bicycle stories, and I edited them, rewrote things, and basically published a book called Bicycle Man, Life of Journeys. And that book is being sold right now. And I'm happy to sell Bicycle Man to you. I've self-published the book because I wanted complete control over the book, and I wanted it to be published quickly. And I got to tell you, it's a challenge to obviously sell books yourself, but also it's extremely satisfying when you do make the sales, because I take the sales very personally and I enjoy talking to people about it. So, in fact, the new book, Bicycle Man, Life of Journeys, has a few very humorous and funny sports-related tales as well, involving people who bike. I
love it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check it out. If people are looking to buy that book, where could they find it, Alan?
Just email me. The first book is on Amazon. The second book is not, but I would love people just to email me. You have my name right there, Snel, ASNEL, at lvsportsbiz.com. Just email me, and I will send you an inscribed book directly to you. I'm happy to talk to people directly about the book.
Wonderful. Well, that sounds great. Okay, so we need to touch more on Vegas. Knowing that I actually am a huge Vegas fan. They are my second favorite team. I am from the Calgary area, so the Calgary Flames are my first.
Right.
But we see Vegas tomorrow night. They've tied up this series 2-2. I know we were talking before the game. You said if Vegas tied it up, you think they go to Game 7. Are you still feeling that way?
You know what? I was so impressed with the Vegas Golden Knights' performance last night, and I think Colorado is kind of in trouble. It's kind of weird. The series is tied 2-2, but the psychology of the series kind of gives you the sense that the momentum has swung to Las Vegas, to the Golden Knights, And I would not be surprised if the Golden Knights go into Denver on tomorrow and squeeze out a win and then polish off the Avalanche on Thursday here in Vegas. But Colorado might win Game 5. The Golden Knights would win Game 6, and it would definitely go 7. The Golden Knights could have easily won Game 2. I thought they outplayed Colorado in the second and third periods. And the Golden Knights, really from their inception, has always been about this misfit kind of persona that they always have a chip on their shoulder, and they play with a certain level of recklessness and abandon. I mean, just pure 110%, all out, 200 feet kind of play. And you saw that really in Game 4 last night. I thought it was vintage Golden Knights hockey, the kind of hockey I saw at season 1, where they literally just out-hustled the opposing team to every puck in the corner. They were very opportunistic around Grubauer. And Marchessault is, I think, a very underrated goal scorer. I know Max Pacioretty gets all the headlines, and for a good reason. He is a legitimate sniper for the Golden Knights, but I really think Marchessault is a very feisty guy, and in some ways, he's kind of the underrated heart of the team, since he goes back to the original guys who were drafted for the expansion team back in 2017. Marchessault, William Karlsson at center.
Which is fantastic. He got 3 assists last night.
Yes, he did. And he had a superb first season with the Golden Knights, I think, with 41 goals.
Yeah.
And Riley Smith. I mean, that is the original Misfits line. And that's a nice 1-2 punch. If, with Pacioretty, Stone, and Chandler Stevenson in the number 1 line, and having Karlsson, Marchessault, and Smith as your number 2 line, that's a nice potent 1-2 punch. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Colorado's number 1 line, anchored by Nathan MacKinnon, is outrageous, and they're a very potent, very fast-moving line. But the Golden Knights have 2 pretty good lines as well, so don't underestimate those 2 lines.
Well, absolutely. And how they owned that ice last night, they didn't give Colorado any space to make any plays at all. They just dominated everything. So I'm excited from what I saw last night. I'm hoping they can take that energy into Colorado and outplay them there, because if they can, they take this series 100% in my mind.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the way they played. I thought they might be able to squeak out a win. I thought Colorado came out and played very crisply. I think they took to heart being called out by their coach, and they came out. And I got to tell you, I think we were kind of swapping some messages there. The first 8 to 10 minutes of that game last night was absolutely insane. Both teams were flying up and down the ice. Yeah. It really was a great commercial for the National Hockey League in terms of the kind of exciting, high-paced, intense kind of play that you want to see. That's the interesting thing about hockey is that there is no excuse me one second.
That's okay.
I thought the first 8 to 10 minutes was as good a hockey I've seen in the 4 years covering the Vegas Golden Knights. It was just high-powered, intense hockey. And what's interesting about it, Joe, is that Colorado actually scored first.
Yes, they did.
Brandon Saad actually got really a pretty easy goal to make it 1-0 Colorado. And I got to tell you, what was interesting about the Golden Knights equalizer about 5 minutes later was that Riley Smith, if you notice, actually thought he had scored on a backhander. He actually made a nice move, and I think he thought he scored. Yeah. And the ref said no goal. And that line of Smith, Marchessault, and Karlsson, they went absolutely nuts on the ice. They were flying around. I was actually on the press ledge on that side of the ice, so I was able to right down on the Colorado goal. Those 3 guys were just swarming the net, and literally like seconds after the goal that was not ruled a goal, Marchessault tied the game at 1-1. And I think that set the tone for the rest of the game.
It absolutely did, but it didn't feel like seconds. Like I know when I watch it back in time, it was only a couple of seconds, but I held my breath here and I thought I was going blue because I was just screaming for them to get that goal. It was absolutely unbelievable hockey.
They were not going to be denied. That was the thing. That was the part that impressed me, was that it was like, oh shoot, we didn't score this goal. Yeah. Heck, we're going to make sure we're going to score a goal. No, and that's what Marcia Show was, just not going to be denied. Tied it at 1-1, and the intense energy. People do also talk about the 18,000 people in the building. Mm-hmm. If I realize that there are just great places to watch hockey in Canada, especially Montreal and Toronto and Vancouver and Edmonton. I'm sure Calgary as well, and all these other places. For a pure popular night out, just to like enjoy entertainment and hockey fused together, you got to catch a Golden Knights game off the strip at T-Mobile Arena.
Oh, absolutely. That will be the first thing I get to when I get down to Vegas next time. So, well, in hockey season, that is. So I really hope so. Our borders are still so funky and everything with COVID, and getting across the border right now is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see that I believe the Canadian government will provide an exception for the Canadian teams to travel. Listen, I mean, it's amazing that Montreal is up 3-0 on Winnipeg, and what's interesting is, assuming that Montreal wins the series, I believe the winner of the Golden Knights Colorado series will play Montreal in the semifinal, because I believe Montreal probably has the least amount of points, and I think they'll be seeded fourth, I guess, in the semifinals. Okay. So you're looking at Golden Knights Colorado winner playing Montreal.
Well, wouldn't it be amazing to see Carey Price and Fleury go at it?
Yes, I mean,
opposing goalies.
If you're a fan of goaltending, that would be a dream matchup.
It absolutely
has
would.
had just a remarkable season. What's amazing about Marc-Andre Fleury was that he technically lost his job to Robin Lehner in the postseason last year in the bubble in Edmonton. Fleury was a backup. Let's face it. That was his position. And this year, Lehner was injured. He suffered a concussion early in the season. Fleury was playing pretty much back-to-back games. Got very little rest, and he has returned to the Marc-Andre Fleury that people have known and loved, through literally the decade. It's hard to believe the guy has played 15, 16, 17 seasons. I mean, he's a veteran of this league, and he's a Vezina finalist along with Grubauer and the Tampa Bay goalie. So, Fleury is back, and what's interesting is that in this town, he is revered as a rock star. I mean, in Las Vegas, in general, the Golden Knights kind of rule this town, even more than the Raiders. But Fleury has just rock star status in Las Vegas now.
And he absolutely should. He's a legend. How do you think his age is going to do going further into these playoffs? Do you think it's going to start to wear on him?
I don't think so. I mean, I thought he played rather well, shouldering a lot of work during the regular season. And Robin Lehner is a very good, right now he's, I guess, the backup in the playoffs. But during the regular season, once Lehner returned, they rotated every other game. So they rotated every other game, pretty much for the second half of this 56 game amended season. And I think Fleury can handle the workload of playing every game from here on out, definitely through the Colorado series, that's for sure. We're not going to see Robin Lehner in goal unless Fleury gets injured.
No, absolutely. That's what I want to hear, because I'm a major Fleury fan. With Fleury in goal, I think they could take this cup. So I absolutely love Vegas, and I will be down at a game one of these days. So
it's a tremendous experience.
Absolutely. And okay, so we've talked about your books. We've talked about Vegas. Is there anything else you would like to talk about with your site? Anything else that you're working on?
Well, check out lbsportsbiz.com. We write stories that are not traditional sports game kind of stories. We integrate the business and marketing of the sports industry. So we're going to look at ticket prices. We're going to look at stadium construction. I think previously we had kind of chit-chatted about the Oakland Athletics looking at Las Vegas and sizing up Las Vegas. Keep in mind that the Raiders stadium was built with $750 million in public money. So the public appetite to subsidize more professional sports facilities like a Major League Baseball park has, I think, pretty much been tapped. I mean, I don't think politically this market is in the position to hand over more free money to professional sports team owners. That said, the Oakland A's are sizing up Las Vegas, but they have a proposal back in their own hometown that they're trying to get through, and supposedly they're looking at other cities like Nashville and Portland or Charlotte. So, the Oakland Athletics are kind of sizing up Las Vegas, but I really look at the NBA as the next major league that would set up shop in Las Vegas. They can have a turnkey operation to open up at T-Mobile Arena. They would share the building with the Vegas Golden Knights. And also, don't forget, UFC is based here in Las Vegas as well. They're, the major MMA promoter around the world. So they're also considered a tenant at UFC. And what's interesting connection between Las Vegas and Calgary is that I think the Calgary Stampede, like rodeo, is a big deal. We actually have the Super Bowl of rodeos here in Las Vegas, the National Finals Rodeo, which is which is held the second week of December at an 18,000 seat arena, the Thomas and Mack Center, which is the arena on the UNLV campus. So this town really is just teeming and just chock full of sports industry developments. We just got news that we have a new National Lacrosse League team that's going to be playing, and also we have a new Indoor Football League team.
Okay, who's the Indoor Football League?
Yeah, so in fact, the owner of the Vegas Golden Knights, Bill Foley, is a partner in the new Indoor Football League team that will play at the Henderson Silver Knights, the Golden Knights American Hockey League team, kind of like the AAA of hockey, if you will. Yeah. They're building a new arena in Henderson, which is part of the Las Vegas metro area. That 6,000 seat arena in Henderson that will house the Henderson Silver Knights will also house the Indoor Football League team that Foley will be a partner in.
Well, that's super exciting. I love indoor football. Actually, I love all football, so that's great to hear. Do you know what the name of that team will be?
They're still working on the branding of that.
Okay.
So they're still a year away from launching their team. That arena in Henderson will probably be finished in about another year or so. So we actually had a new hockey league, American Hockey League team, the Henderson Silver Knights, play here at Orleans Arena. For people who visit Las Vegas a lot, they might be familiar with the Orleans Arena. It's part of the Orleans Hotel on Tropicana Boulevard, not too far from the Strip. And the Silver Knights played at Orleans Arena this past year, and they also have like a nice little following. So if you are trying to get into the sports business industry, you might want to consider moving to Las Vegas, Nevada, because there are just all kinds of sports business opportunities here, and it makes my life very easy because I have a lot of stuff to write about.
Absolutely, you do. Well, Vegas seems alive and hopping. I am so excited for the atmosphere there. I'm so excited for this game tomorrow night. Will you be traveling to Colorado to cover it, or are you?
Well, I got to tell you, one of my little pit stops in my newspaper life was working for the Denver Post. Okay. And this is pretty amazing, but I actually covered the deal at the time. The company that built the arena was called Ascent, and they actually worked out a deal with the city of Denver to build the arena. So I actually have history with this arena. I would love to get over there and cover Game 5. I think I'm going to stay home Thursday, by the way, just so you know, the National Hockey League just released the starting time for Thursday's game in Vegas. It's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern time, which is, I believe, I guess you're in the mountains. It would be
It'd
7
be 7 my time, yes.
So it'll be 7 p.m. for Mountain Time and 6 p.m. out here in Vegas and Pacific Time. So, unfortunately, I won't be going to Denver. However, Joe, I do want to tell you, I have promised myself that if this series does go 7, I will drive the 10 hours from Las Vegas to Denver and be in Denver to cover Game 7. So you have it on the record.
Absolutely. Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that, because if this goes to 7, it's going to be an absolutely incredible, incredible game. I can't even imagine what it will be like. I don't think I'll breathe. I'll probably turn blue.
Well, I got news for you. I think, some people look at Colorado versus Vegas as almost really the NHL Stanley Cup final that just happens to be playing in the second round.
I completely agree with you. This was a matchup I wanted to see out of any single matchup that you could have on this board.
And it took 7 games for the Golden Knights to beat a nemesis Minnesota team. Minnesota has given the Golden Knights all kinds of fits through the years, and it took 7 games. The Golden Knights were up 3-1. They actually lost Game 1 in Las Vegas, 1-0 in overtime.
Yeah.
Then the Golden Knights won 3 games. They had a 3-1 game edge. Minnesota, to their credit, came back and won games 5 and 6. And then it took a 6-2 win a week ago last Saturday in Vegas for the Golden Knights to advance to play Colorado, which is why, if like you mentioned, the 2 days later, the Golden Knights were in Denver and they got obliterated 7-1.
Yeah.
And it may have been kind of like a little silver lining for the Golden Knights. It may have given Colorado kind of a false sense of confidence that they could kind of handle Vegas rather easily, because I got news for you. Game 2, the Golden Knights could have easily won that game.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, the Golden Knights, in general, did outplay Colorado in games 3 and 4 on the home ice of T-Mobile Arena. So we're tied 2-2, could have been 3-1 Vegas, but I know we had talked. I had liked Vegas, going 7, but they're playing so well. I could see them getting a win in Denver in 2 nights.
Yeah, I absolutely could too. It's we'll see. Fingers crossed. I really would love to see Vegas close this out. Although I do love this matchup, so I would like to see it go to Game 7, just so we get a couple more games.
Yeah, I got to tell you, just after watching last night's game. Yeah. It was almost, I guess perhaps as we get older, the games seem like they go faster. I don't know if that's like the perception of time, but
I don't know. It seems so long to me, especially when I'm like, as soon as they get down in one zone and I'm just losing my mind.
Well, the Golden Knights, that game to me just flew right by. I can't believe how, to me, I could have watched that game, all night long. And
absolutely.
I was astonished at the level of play in the first half of the first period. I mean, both teams were absolutely flying up and down the ice. Again, I thought it was a great promotion and a great commercial for the NHL. If you can just bottle that and just, that's the issue with the NHL and their revenues, is that the game just simply does not translate to TV. And as a result, they don't have like the big, meaty, lucrative TV contracts that the National Football League, for example, can command. And it hurts the NHL from a revenue standpoint. They just don't have like the really big national hockey TV contracts, although they have switched. They've gone from NBC now to ESPN, and I think TNT as well. But my point is that you really have to see this game in person. I know it's been said over and over again, but to grow the sport, you got to get people inside the building. I would if you can, make the tickets a little more affordable, but you got to get people in the building to eyeball the speed and skill that these players show. I mean, it really is impressive when you go in person just to see I mean, you look at a Nathan McKinnon who's like at the top of his game, but still, just generally speaking, I give credit to any of these NHL players for the speed and skills they exhibit, zipping around at 20 miles per hour on a little blade of steel. Because
Yeah.
it's a great game to see in person.
Oh, absolutely. I love when I can get to a local Calgary Flames game here. Hopefully, when the season opens back up, we'll be able to have fans in our stands because I have missed being in those stands so much over this last year. Alan, I want to thank you so very much for joining me today. It was an absolute pleasure having you on. I wish you all the best for the next 4 years of your site and many more to come.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joe. It was great talking with you.
Yeah, it was an absolute pleasure. So can you remind everyone again where they can find you?
Yeah, so check out bookmark lvsportsbiz.com. And I strongly suggest, just to give you a kind of little sales pitch here, to buy the Bicycle Man book. You really don't even have to like bicycling to enjoy it. It really is. It's really about adventure tales, funny stories, and there's actually a few bicycle stories with some really great, funny sport angles to them. So my name is on the screen. Just email me at Snel, that's ASNEL, at lvsportsbiz.com, and I'd love to sell you a book directly and inscribe it to you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you for joining us. Hustle and Grind will be back later tonight with myself and Cami P. We'll be doing a full breakdown of both NHL games tonight. So, Alan, again, thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks. Take care, Joe.
Bye.